Hello everyone, good morning. Wishing you all a beautiful, brilliant and a wonderful day ahead. So, today we are in the fourth session of the first chapter, the living world. So, yesterday we have learnt regarding binomial nomenclature. Hope you might have gone through the text. Have you read? Yeah, of course you might have read, you might have gone through. So, yesterday we have learnt what is binomial nomenclature. Just we will recall the point that which we have learnt yesterday. So, we have learnt it is a standardized name giving to the organisms, to the species, and also we have learnt what is binomial nomenclature. We have learned some of the examples. We have learned the rules of the binomial nomenclature, haven't we? Yeah. What were the rules, the important rules that we have learned? Yeah, just we will recall the points that we have learned. So every scientific name will be having two components. What are they? Genus and species. So genus name always it should be in the capital letter followed by species name in the lowercase. And the next we have learned if it is printed it should be in the italicized form and it should be separately underlined. Okay, so these are the rules, important rules that which we have learned. And also we have come across some of the taxonomical aids, some of the important taxonomical aids. Only two aids we have come across, isn't it? So once again we will recall the taxonomical aids that which we have learned. Aids having specimens and aids without specimens. What are the aids that which are having specimens? Herbarium, botanical gardens, museums, zoological parks and key. And aids without specimens are flora, manuals, monographs and catalogue. Flora, manuals, monographs and catalogues are the aids without specimens. Aids with the having specimens are herbarium, botanical gardens, museum, zoological parks and key. So yesterday we have come across herbarium. As I have told you, the name, as the name indicates, it is regarding the herb. It is regarding the plants. So herbarium is a school project. Yesterday I have mentioned, isn't it? So herbarium, what we do? We go to the garden and collect various varieties of species and we will be bringing it to the store where the herbarium room is there. So we will be storing it there. We will be drying that leaves there. And why do we dry also yesterday I have mentioned? Do you remember? So, because the microorganisms may be there and fungi may occur and destroy the leaves. So we have to dry it, we have to paste it and we have to preserve and keep. That's what we have learned regarding the first tool, that was herbarium. And the second one that which we have learned was regarding the botanical garden. Do you remember? So what is botanical garden? Varieties of species will be there in the garden. Few of the important botanical gardens I have mentioned, Kew in England, isn't it? So there will be species and also the scientific name will be written there and where the species is being collected or the date of collection or the place name, everything will be mentioned there. Yesterday we have discussed. So today let us discuss the third taxonomical tool, that is museum. This is interesting, isn't it? So we all like museum. The best thing about the museum is that we will have the stuffed structure of whale, the stuffed structure of dinosaurs, the stuffed structure of snakes, isn't it? So imagine if reality happens, when we see the stuffed structure of dinosaurs, when we see the stuffed structure of whale, we feel as wow, isn't it? So we all like museum. So what happens here in the museum? Just we will see. So biological museums are generally set up in educational institutes such as schools and colleges. We know that museums are in the schools as well as the colleges. What is the purpose of this? To study, to do the research, using for the reference, isn't it? The next point is that museums have collections of preserved plant and animal specimens for the study and reference. As I have told you, it is for the study as well as for the references who are doing the PG and all, they use it for the reference. And the next point, specimens are preserved in the containers of jars in preservative solutions. So here What happens here, you might have seen in your lab, the animals are being preserved and kept in the jars. Okay, they will be, of course, few will be stuffed or made of plaster of Paris, or just it is used just for the study purpose. Okay, in the museum you might have seen in your lab and all, the specimens are being conserved in a jar in a solution, isn't it? What is the use, what is the purpose of that? For our study purpose, for the reference purpose. If suppose I am talking about the platyhelminthes, even if I give a lecture regarding the platyhelminthes for 1 hour or for the 1 day or 2 days, you will not be understand unless and until you see that particular platyhelminthes in the lab, isn't it? Unless and until you see that particular snake or particular that species or that particular organism in the lab, it will be your mind will be copying it, isn't it? So you will be very thorough with that particular species, or you will be thorough with that specific organisms. Clear? Plant and animal specimens may also be preserved as dry specimens. So if it is being endangered or extinct, what we do is that we preserve and keep it. Even the plant species we preserve and keep. If live species are there, then we will be keeping it as such. Then the animals we will be we will be preserving and keeping that particular species. Hope the museum is clear to you all. Now the museum is very, very important tool. Okay, the next taxonomical aid is zoo. The next taxonomical aid is zoo. Of course, as you see in the screen, all of you might have viewed the zoo. Have you? Have you been to zoo? So you might have been to zoo with your families, or from the school, or from the educational institutes, or with your family friends, okay, or with your friends you might have visited the zoo. So it's of great importance, okay, the zoological park is of great importance. What do we do in the zoo? We do conserve the animals there. Okay, so where this animal has to grow, all we know that the animals will be in the wild animals are living in the forest. We all know that fact. But here in the zoo, what the animals are doing? We are preserving and keeping them in the natural condition, in the natural habitat. We are providing them a natural environment so that they may live. Otherwise, what happens? These animals may be hunted in the forest, or other wild animals may, some are called carnivores, we know that they may have the tendency to hunt over other animals. So what happens naturally? They may get extinct, they may become endangered. Okay, so endangered, extinct means that is being moved, means disappeared from the earth. Okay, disappeared from the earth, we can say that. So what we have to do here in the zoo, what they are doing, they are providing a natural environment, such a natural environment, such a natural habitat, so that animals are protected, conserved and preserved there. Okay, if you wanted to know more about the zoo, you can visit a zoo manager, and he will be telling all the details regarding the zoo. So again, it's a very, very important tool, the taxonomical aid. In the taxonomical aid, very, very important tool, that is a zoo, zoological parks. Clear? Next taxonomical aid is key. So that key is little complicated. So let's discuss in detail what are keys. Okay, what are keys? Key is nothing but that is a characteristic features given to the particular organism. The characteristic features given to the particular organism, and because of that particular what we do, that leading to the key, that means we move ahead with that key and we come back to the conclusion. Hope it is clear to you. So key means it's nothing but the characteristic features given to the particular organism. With that key we are moving ahead, and then we are coming to the conclusion. For example, let us see here. For example, if we say that rabbit, can you see the rabbit here? So if rabbit has fur, and the frog, the amphibia, from the amphibia, the frog, this animal doesn't have fur, but the rabbit has fur. So here there is a clear-cut difference between these two organisms. Okay, so the rabbit has fur and frog doesn't have fur. Is it clear? So what happens if you are then you can learn now one characteristic you have learned. So with this key we are going further, and we are learning the another point, another features also we may learn in this way. So the first feature we are learning that it is the external feature. Okay, external as well as the internal features will be discussed. So the external feature what we can see is that for the rabbit it has fur. For the frog it doesn't have fur. So it leads to the next feature. So let's see. So keys are used for the identification of plants and animals based on similarities and dissimilarities. The first point regarding the key is that it is identification of plants and animals based on similarities and dissimilarities. And the second point here is that keys are analytical in nature and based on contrasting characters in a pair called couplet. That means the contrasting characters, two different, as I have told you, when we are taking two organisms, two animal species, if we are taking rabbit and if we are taking from the amphibia category, the animals with fur and without fur. That means two contrasting characters. Is it clear? Then the next point is that out of two proposed characters, only one which is relevant is accepted while the other is rejected. So from these two characters what we are doing is that out of this one will be accepted and others will be rejected. It is not necessary that all the points that which leads to that particular organism has to be accepted. Sometimes it may be rejected also. Then each statement will be leading to each statement of the key will be leading us to the lead. So what is lead? That means, for example, as I have told, rabbit has fur and this animal doesn't have fur. Then the next, it is leading to the next point. What is its fertilization, or about the tympanum, or about the eyes, or about the internal organs. In this way we can go further and we can learn the features. And the last point is that separate taxonomic keys are required for each taxonomic category, such as family, genus, order, etc. Okay, so separate taxonomic keys are required for each taxonomic category, such as family, such as genus, order. So we will learn according to the genus, order and so on. Okay, is it clear? Here there are examples of some animals with fur and without fur. You can see the animals with fur here, the animals without fur here. Is it clear? So next we will move to next taxonomical aid, manuals. Okay, so what are manuals? Manuals means usually when we go to the zoological museum, we get a manual. What does this manual indicate? So in this manual, everything regarding that particular organism or the species will be there. So if you wanted to learn more, if you wanted to understand a little more deeper, or if you wanted to gain little more knowledge, you can go through the manual. Is it clear? So all the records, it will be keeping all the records. Manuals are the record that contains information, identification of the names of the species but found in that particular area. The next taxonomical aid is, you can see here, it's a catalogue. What is catalogue? That is alphabetical listing of the species, alphabetically arranged in the order and listing of the species. We can say that a dictionary of the living organisms. Okay, for example, if you wanted to learn about the pangolin, so need not go through all the pages. So alphabetical listing order will be there. You have to take from the P and the pages, and from that catalogue you can understand more about the pangolin. And for another example, if you wanted to learn about amphibia, or if you wanted to learn about apes, if you wanted to learn about some other organism or the species that which is being extinct or endangered, everything will be there in this catalogue. This is also another important tool, catalogue. So almost all the taxonomical aids we have discussed. We have learned herbarium, we have learned botanical gardens, we have learned zoological parks, the museum, and also flora, fauna, regarding the catalogue, the manuals, all these things we have come across. Hope everything is clear to you. Just I am giving you the summary of the whole chapter. We have learned, the first introduction was about what is living, and we have learned the properties of the living beings or the living organisms. and then next we have learned regarding the biodiversity, and after that we have come across the taxonomical hierarchy, taxonomical category. Then we have learned regarding taxonomical aids, isn't it? So it's a very small chapter and very easy chapter, so you can learn, you can go through. Just if you go through all these things, all through this, we will be able to no need of by heartening it, just to read and understand. So very important thing is that nomenclature from this chapter, and also the taxonomical hierarchy. Everything is important, but the main thing that you have to give stress is that regarding the binomial nomenclature, taxonomic hierarchy, and the taxonomical aids. Okay, so stay awesome, stay productive. Thank you so much.